Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
What is kind of your gauge for when you feel comfortable without a mask and when you feel like you should definitely be wearing it?
I think we should be wearing masks all the time.
For me, it's just like, oh, it's better to be safe than sorry, so I'm just always wearing my mask.
Typically, I wear it inside and outside all times.
I feel like whenever I'm in public, I should always be wearing a mask, especially around other people.
Because the vaccinations rollouts have been largely to more privileged communities, I think there's a lot of people that aren't able to receive the vaccinations, and I still want to wear my mask to ensure I'm being socially conscious for them.
If I had a friend that was like that, they wouldn't be my friend very long. So, not everyone's going to get vaccinated. That's kind of an unfortunate statistic.
Were you leery about getting the vaccine?
I was not. I was ready to go. I was like, just put it in me.
We're not going to trust everyone to be vaccinated, so we're keeping our masks on.
Where do you usually get your information on?
Just social media sites, the news.
Honestly, a lot of it comes through social media. So just following sources such as CNN or MSN and all that stuff.
I'm so used to wearing a mask. I don't really remember just not wearing it out in public anymore. I'm so used to the mask now that even if they say like, oh, you don't really have to wear a mask, I might just wear it just in case.
Are you all as pissed off as I am? Because I'm pissed. To watch my country being snatched away from me, it's like a mother or a father watching their child get taken from them by like the CPS or something. This is demonic. It's all fucking demonic. And I feel like I'm the only one that's pissed off. I walk around. I go to the grocery store, whatever, wherever, and there's people still in this. They're still behind. They're that behind that they're still wearing the fucking face diapers. These people you cannot save. These people are done. Look at them like the fucking dinosaurs. They're gone. They're gone. They're not going to make it, folks. They're not going to make it to the next shift. They're not making it. And they may look at me and go, oh, he's crazy. You're fucking stupid. I'd rather be crazy than fucking stupid. You fucking idiots. I'm sorry. I'm on it today, man. How many of you have to turn it down when you're in public when I'm on? No, go ahead. Show everybody what you're watching. Nino. El Nino.
The most effective control technique deployed by the American media is to distract the audience. This is very easy to do because everyone takes the bait. But today's distractions are threatening our very lives. While people are busy discussing their opinions on he said, she said nonsense from Hollywood stars and celebrating the fact that one of the billionaires who made hundreds of millions off the COVID lockdowns just bought Twitter, the banker's agenda continues to move forward unobstructed. The World Economic Forum has made their intentions clear. You will own nothing and like it. And the best way to accomplish this is through more lockdowns, permanent lockdowns, with occasional breaks for good behavior.
In the old days, you used to learn logic and you used to learn arguments and you used to so on. Today, no longer. No. You're taught to run on emotion. People run on emotion, and then they cannot understand how the Holocaust is not true, because they're judging by emotion. But if you want to know whether the Holocaust is true or not, go by the evidence. Look up the evidence and you'll see, if you've got half a brain in your head, you'll see in a short space of time that the Holocaust is quite simply a fabrication. 6 million gassed. There wasn't one deadly gas chamber, or there wasn't one gas chamber in Nazi Germany which was killing human beings. Not one. What there was in the concentration camps were disinfection chambers where Zyklon B gas was used to delouse clothing of prisoners as they came into the camps. That there was. That there is the evidence for. The evidence of the prussic acid is a blue stain in the concrete of these disinfection chambers. That you find. That is evidence. In the walls, it's evidence. But in the walls of the alleged gas chambers, often built after the war, it's a fabrication. Sheer fabrication. But that's the stupidity of modern man. Modern man thinks he's so smart. He's got so many universities. Everybody now goes to university, and everybody becomes stupid at these modern universities. Who can deny it? I said that yesterday, I think, that you come out of these modern universities with a degree in a circular shape, colour black with 2 ears on top. They're Mickey Mouse degrees in these modern universities. They're not universities at all. They're the appearance of universities without the substance or reality. The whole of the modern world is appearances inherited from yesterday of a world that's disappearing and gone. It's been emptied out by those who have been clever enough to fool the masses. And we know who those who are clever enough to fool the masses. And the masses want to be fooled because they don't want God. So anybody who will lie to them cleverly enough to get rid of God, they will like and they will follow. That's what you've got today.
The masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste, preferring to deify error if error seduce them. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim. According to the psychologist Carl Jung, the greatest threat to civilization lies not with the forces of nature, nor with any physical disease, but with our inability to deal with the forces of our own psyche. We are our own worst enemies, or as the Latin proverb puts it, man is a wolf to man. In Civilization in Transition, Jung states that this proverb is a sad yet eternal truism, and our wolf-like tendencies come most prominently into play at those times of history when mental illness becomes the norm rather than the exception in a society, a situation which Jung termed a psychic epidemic. Indeed, it is becoming ever more obvious, he writes, that it is not famine, not earthquakes, not microbes, not cancer, but man himself, who is man's greatest danger to man, for the simple reason that there is no adequate protection against psychic epidemics, which are infinitely more devastating than the worst of natural catastrophes.
I feel like we've been programmed to think that if we are in a war, we'll be seeing mass destruction and chaos happening all around us. But I think that we surpassed the time where guns and missiles and violent weapons are the best form of warfare. There are many different types of warfare that would be a much better fit for the time that we're living in right now, and we are currently in an age of information. So, hypothetically, if we were to be in World War III, it would be a war on information. People wouldn't be dying left and right because the people in power wouldn't resort to that since we are are their main source of money and power. It would be a silent war, a war on consciousness where people can be enslaved mentally. And a lot of people wouldn't even realize it because they are fully engulfed in this intricately planned out illusion full of distractions and lies, where they are being killed slowly with biological warfare, putting food and medicine in their body that's actually just poison and dumbing them down. And they are so caught up in distractions in this constant state of fear and worry that they don't even realize they're fighting a battle that they have to wake up in order to win.
It's actually progressed beyond information warfare. It's now cognitive warfare. The mind is the battle space. And again, for your non-military viewers, the battle space is the land, air, and sea, and that makes sense because they're the geographical areas in which we fight. But then you've also got the cyber domain and space, and you start to think, okay, we have to fight in other places, and cyber particularly now, that's not geographically located, but it's a domain nonetheless. Well, cognitive warfare is the battle for your mind, and not just what you think, but how you think. And we have been subjected to us, the entire globe. We've been subjected to this brainwashing, and it's nothing but brainwashing, for decades and decades and decades, quite sophisticated, quite carefully adept. And so I say to people, if you think that you've come to your conclusions about life on Earth because you're a smart individual that can rationally examine all the potential inputs and come up with a series of conclusions, you're dreaming. You're literally dreaming. Because by controlling Hollywood, by controlling the stories, and here's why stories are important. That's why Hollywood is so critical. And I think it was Joseph Stalin said, if I controlled Hollywood, I could control the world. Because when you tell a story, the listener willingly suspends their disbelief. They say, okay, I know it's nonsense, but I'm going to go with it because the story's interesting. And so it bypasses the prefrontal cortex of the brain, that rational analysis machine in the front of your head. And it goes straight to the back of the brain, and you accept even the most nonsensical story. Now, you do this decade after decade after decade, and you start when the kids are young, and you pump out the most ridiculous nonsense. By the time they hit 21, 22, 23, they're brainwashed, they're done. Now I'm lucky. I'm 61 years old, so I've been around the block a few times. I was raised in a very different world to the one in which we're living now, and I'm grateful for that. And I can raise my kids knowing that there is a better way of living than what most young kids have got going today.
Yeah.
So we've been brainwashed, and it's going to take us decades. And I've said this to our team: it's going to take us decades to really repair all the damage that's been done to Australia.
From basically European intellectual inquiry into what the heck happened in Germany in the 20s and 30s. Very intelligent, highly educated population, and they went barking mad. And how did that happen? The answer is mass formation psychosis. When you have a society that has become decoupled from each other and has free-floating anxiety and a sense that things don't make sense, we can't understand it. And then their attention gets focused by a leader or a series of events on one small point, just like hypnosis. They literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere. And one of the aspects of that phenomena is the people that they identify as their leaders, the ones typically that come in and say, you have this pain and I can solve it for you. I and I alone, okay, can fix this problem for you. Okay, then they will follow that person. It doesn't matter whether they lie to him or whatever. The data are irrelevant. And furthermore, anybody who questions that narrative is to be immediately attacked. They are the other. This is central to mass formation psychosis. And this is what has happened. We had all those conditions. If you remember back before 2019, everybody was complaining, the world doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. And we're all isolated from each other. We're all on our little tools. We're not connected socially anymore, except through social media. And then this thing happened, and everybody focused on it. That is how mass formation psychosis happens, and that is what's happened here.